Is your magic meter running low? Well, we've got a cure for you. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePauli, and welcome to the House of Mouse headlines for the week of October 11th, 2020, brought to you by laughingplace.com, your up-to-date resource for the latest Disney news every day of the week. In this week's news, the ongoing saga in California, the return of some Walt Disney World favorites, a Disney Plus exclusive release for Soul, and more, so let's get to it.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
First up this week, the Walt Disney Company is set to announce their fourth quarter earnings on November 12th. In case you're wondering, Disney starts its fiscal year on October 1st, so for them, it's now 2021. Nevertheless, this 2020 report should prove interesting as the company continues to navigate the COVID-19 pandemic. While you never know what pieces of news Disney will reveal to entice investors, it's definitely something to keep an eye on. So be sure to visit laughingplace.com on November 12th at 1:30 p.m. Pacific for live coverage of the earnings call. They truly do a fantastic job at laughingplace.com, keeping you up to date in real time as to what's going on in the call, so I highly suggest you checking it out when the day arrives. After weeks of promises that theme park reopening guidelines would be issued soon, this week developments in California took a turn. Last week, it was reported that the state was set to announce the long-in-the-works guidance. However, shortly after this, an organization representing theme parks in the state asked that the guidelines not be finalized until changes could be made. Additionally, Disney Executive Chairman Bob Iger resigned from the state's Economic Recovery Advisory Group. So what happened? According to reports, the planned guidelines would have been quite strict. Not only would theme parks only be allowed to reopen once infection rates in their county reached the lowest tier, but the parks would be limited to 25% capacity. Additionally, only those within a 120-mile radius of the parks would be allowed to visit. Following this back and forth, Governor Gavin Newsom said during a press conference, quote, "We feel there's no hurry to put out guidelines and we continue to work with the industry," adding, "I understand the dialectic, the friction that many business leaders have that they want to move forward, but we're going to be led by a health-first framework and we're going to be stubborn about it," end quote. Disney took issue with that later sentiment, with Disney Parks Chief Medical Officer Dr. Pam Heimel saying in a statement, quote, "We absolutely reject the suggestion that reopening the Disneyland Resort is incompatible with a health-first approach." She added that the company has taken a robust, science-based approach to reopening our parks and resorts across the globe, end quote. Obviously, this is a fluid situation, but the bottom line is that it could be a long while before Disneyland returns to normal operations. While Disneyland Resort guests may not be able to experience the parks for their attractions, a small part of Disney California Adventure is now accessible to those visiting downtown Disney. Earlier this week, the resort debuted the Backlot premiere shop at Stage 17. As you may recall, Stage 17, located in Hollywoodland in Disney California Adventure, was formerly home to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Play It, and more recently, Olaf's Snowfest. Now, the space has been converted into an additional shopping area, presumably to ease demand on World of Disney. Currently, you can find all kinds of park merchandise at the location, including some Halloween goodies. Plus, you may just spot the old Play It sign from the DCA 1.0 days hanging on the wall. As a reminder, Downtown Disney does occasionally pause parking to control the flow of guests and can reach capacity. So be sure to plan ahead if you intend on heading to the Backlot premiere shop or other Downtown Disney venues. Over the summer, you may have heard about an individual who made his way to Walt Disney World's long-abandoned Discovery Island and was able to camp there for about a week before being caught. Well, now that man named Richard McGuire has accepted a plea deal that will see him paying a $100 fine plus court and prosecution costs. Of course, he's also banned from Walt Disney World for life. Discovery Island has been closed since 1999, and this wasn't the first time people have attempted to explore the area. But as you can see, there are consequences for those who do. One of the most popular dining experiences at Walt Disney World Resort is set for a comeback. As the Disney Parks blog announced, the character breakfast at Chef Mickey's in Disney's Contemporary Resort will be returning this December with some new menu items. This includes Mickey's Celebration Pancake, Loaded Potato Cheese Casserole, and Goofy's Banana Bread French Toast. These items will join classic breakfast items as part of the all-you-care-to-eat family-style feast. Reservations for Chef Mickey's character breakfast will open on October 17th for dates beginning December 16th. Another Walt Disney World staple is also nearing a return. Disney's Winter Summerland miniature golf course near Disney's Blizzard Beach water park is set to reopen next month. The Putt-Putt property features 2 uniquely themed 18-hole courses, each with their own distinct musical soundtrack. As the name suggests, the first course draws inspiration from the winter season, including snow castles and ice hockey rinks. The second course represents all things summer, as guests navigate surfboards, sand sculptures, and even a melted snowman. Whether you're a regular player excited to embark on another round, or a first-timer ready to explore, you can visit Winter Summerland starting November 5th. After canceling shows due to obvious reasons, Disney on Ice is ready to resume. The return will begin with their show, Dream Big, returning to the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas on November 6th. This production includes numerous favorites from Disney and Pixar stories, including Moana, Coco, Frozen, and Aladdin, as well as the Disney princesses. Feld Entertainment, which produces Disney on Ice, has been working closely with a variety of state and local leaders, health organizations, and local arena management to develop protocols for safety and wellness while guests are in the seating area. As a result, they've created seating pods for your family and friends to safely enjoy the show while social distancing from groups that are also in attendance. The seating pod that you purchase will be shared exclusively with the people that you have chosen to attend the show with you and will not include any guests that are not part of your group. While this first performance will take place in Dallas, be sure to keep an eye out for Disney on Ice skating to a town near you. And if you are a fan of Disney on Ice, I'd like to remind you that I conducted an interview with a longtime Disney on Ice director on episode 707 of this podcast, so be sure to check it out if you haven't already. As we've seen time and time again in recent months, plans regarding the movie release slate continue to change. The latest adjustment brings some good and bad news for Pixar fans. This week, Disney announced that the upcoming film Soul will be bypassing theaters in the United States and instead arrive exclusively on Disney+. However, instead of bowing in November, the film will now debut on December 25th. As a gift to subscribers, it seems that Soul will stream as part of Disney Plus's regular library, standing in contrast to the recent Premiere Access release of Mulan. So once you've unwrapped all of your presents this year, be sure to gather the family around to stream Soul on Disney+. Speaking of the holiday season, Disney Plus has announced another treat. This December, fans of the Disney Plus original High School Musical: The Musical the Series can tune in for a seasonal episode, which is of course titled High School Musical: The Musical The Holiday Special. The cast of the show will deliver an abundance of feel-good holiday cheer as they perform their favorite Christmas, Hanukkah, and New Year's songs and share their fondest holiday memories. This 45-minute special will also feature a sneak peek performance from the highly anticipated second season of the popular series. You can catch High School Musical: The Musical The Holiday Special on Disney Plus starting Friday, December 11th. From one holiday to another, ABC will be celebrating Dia de los Muertos a bit early this year. On Wednesday, October 14th, The Wonderful World of Disney will air the broadcast network premiere of Pixar's Coco. While you can, of course, enjoy the film on Disney+, ABC has a tendency to share new sneak peeks and other treats during these special broadcasts. So remember to tune into The Wonderful World of Disney on October 14th. And finally this week, if you're looking for some tunes to get yourself in the Halloween mood, Disney has released a new playlist featuring various villain songs and other Halloween jams that are now streaming on various services. The Disney Halloween playlist includes Friends on the Other Side, Grim Grinning Ghosts, Trust in Me, and many, many more songs. You can find it yourself on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, Vivo, Pandora, and more. Meanwhile, for more Halloween fun in audio form, be sure to check out my new podcast, That Halloween Podcast, on various podcast listening platforms, or by clicking the link in this episode's description. So far on that new show, you can hear from Disney producer Don Hahn, Hocus Pocus creator David Kirshner, Hocus Pocus composer John Debney, Hocus Pocus production designer William Sandell, and there are more Disney guests and titles coming out later this month on that Halloween podcast. Be sure to check it out if you haven't already. That's going to do it for the news this week, so let's get to this week's Twitter poll where I asked you folks, of the following options, which Disneyland land is your favorite? Your options were Mickey's Toontown, Critter Country, New Orleans Square, or Main Street, USA. In last place with only 3% of the votes was Mickey's Toontown, followed by Critter Country with 8% of the votes. Main Street USA got 20% of the votes, but the vast majority of you said New Orleans Square with 69% of the votes. Do you agree with these results? Cast your vote in the Twitter poll every week by following Dizney CTC on Twitter. That's DIZNEY CTC on Twitter. And folks, on this past Wednesday's episode, we started the spooky season with ghost stories from within the Disney parks. And on this upcoming Wednesday's episode, I chat about the movie Frankenweenie with the film's producer. The easiest way to make sure you don't miss any of the magic is by subscribing to Disney Coast to Coast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Wherever you search, don't forget, it's Disney with a Z, Coast to Coast. And finally, folks, on October 26th, I'll be having this month's live stream Q&A with members of the DCTC community. This live stream will be taking place just a couple of days after I return from a Walt Disney World vacation, so if you have any questions about visiting the parks during the ongoing pandemic, this would be a great Q&A to be part of so that I can answer your questions directly. To take part, visit patreon.com/DisneyCTC. That's patreon.com/DIZNEYCTC. Other than that, folks, have a magical day. Bye!
Thanks for listening to Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.
Disney Coast to Coast is produced and hosted by Jeff DePauli. Learn more about the podcast and become a supporter at DisneyCoastToCoast.com. This podcast is part of the DePodcast Network. Learn more about this show, plus find more quality and entertaining podcasts at DePodcastNetwork.com. That's DEPodcastNetwork.com.